The poet Countee Cullen, writing about the complexities of being black in America, offered these words, "Yet do I marvel at this curious thing, to make a poet black and bid him sing." Is it a curious thing to be a black poet in Cuba?
Very interesting. Anywhere where you feel you have origins elsewhere, it's very interesting. No matter where, no matter who. I'm really pleased to hear the name of Countee Cullen, because he's one of my favorites. The most important trait of Countee Cullen is that he had a very special feeling of being an African, a black person coming from that trauma, that big and great trauma, which was the passage and slavery.
Does a poet think of himself, in your case, do you think of yourself as Cuban first, a person of African descent first, or the poet first?
On a whole, you cannot divide any person. I don't think that we should forget or forgive the historical fact that from migrations and violent migrations like those which brought slaves into the Americas, created our world. That's very important. But we cannot forget that a black person in Argentina cannot be the same person as a black in the south of the U.S. or in Miami or anywhere else.
Because
nations exist. And although there are many exchanges with consciousness of them or not, you speak another language, you have an identity that you share with many other people, and the nationalhood feelings that I'm telling you are very important.
many poets in the United States during the Harlem Renaissance spent time abroad. They went to the Caribbean, they spent time in France. Are poets defined by borders?
By language. I think that borders are sometimes, some way, abstractions. There is, how can I explain, a whole land that comes from poetry, that comes from language. So that's why I believe in those nations. But there is something much more powerful. And in the case of the Americas, we do have a black expression in Latin America and the Caribbean, which means that although we may live in Argentina or Uruguay or Venezuela or Cuba or Santo Domingo or even Puerto Rico, there is a force, a reliable force of identity and expression of something that we share. Although you may be an Argentinian or a South American or a North American, that's very, very important.
Nancy Morejo, thank you so much for agreeing to talk with us again.
Now, my pleasure to meet you and to talk to you again.
The last time I was here, we talked about a new president in Washington.
Yeah?
Now I've returned, and there's a new president in Havana.
Oh, yes. At least in Cuba, we're having a very special moment in the sense that we have a new president.
Let me ask you about this man who has come to power in the wake of a speech given by Raul Castro, his final speech as president, in which he talked about the failure of the government to attend to all the needs of Afro-Cubans.
Yes, because this is a very deep process. It's not easy to remove all prejudices, and because slavery and its history is behind our backs. It is not a problem of proclaiming a new law. It's a problem of awareness. It's a problem of ideology. And this takes time. Included in this anthology, this poem was written in 1975 for the first time and published for the first time in 1975. Mujer negra. Todavía huelo la espuma del mar que me hicieron atravesar. La noche no puedo recordarla, ni el mismo océano podría recordarla. Pero no olvido el primer Alcatraz que divisé. Altas las nubes como inocentes testigos presenciales. ¿Acaso no he olvidado ni mi costa perdida, ni mi lengua ancestral? Me dejaron aquí y aquí he vivido, y porque trabajé como una bestia, aquí volví a nacer. ¿A cuánta epopeya mandinga intenté recurrir? Me rebelé. Su merced me compró en una plaza. Bordé la casaca de su merced y un hijo macho le parí. Mi hijo no tuvo nombre y su merced murió a manos de un impecable lord inglés. Anduve. Esta es la tierra donde padecí bocabajos y azotes. Bogué a lo largo de todos sus ríos, bajo su sol sembré, recolecté y las cosechas no comí. Por casa tuve un barracón. Yo misma traje piedras para edificarlo, pero canté al natural compás de los pájaros nacionales. Me sublevé. En esta misma tierra toqué la sangre húmeda y los huesos podridos de muchos otros, traídos a ella o no, igual que yo. Ya nunca más imaginé el camino a Guinea. Era a Guinea, a Benín, era a Madagascar o a Cabo Verde. Trabajé mucho más. Fundé mejor mi canto milenario y mi esperanza. Aquí construí mi mundo. Me fui al monte. Mi real independencia fue el Palenque y cabalgué entre las tropas de Maceo. Solo un siglo más tarde, junto a mis descendientes, desde una azul montaña, bajé de la sierra para acabar con capitales y usureros, con generales y burgueses. Ahora soy, solo hoy tenemos y creamos. Nada nos es ajeno. Nuestra la tierra, nuestros el mar y el cielo, nuestras la magia y la quimera. Iguales míos, aquí los veo bailar alrededor del árbol que plantamos para el comunismo. Su pródiga madera ya resuena.